Hi there, and welcome to Oaklandside 510. I'm Tasneem Raja, editor-in-chief of the Oaklandside, Oakland's independent nonprofit newsroom. This week, we're doing something a little different, a Nosh-centric episode. We know a lot of Oaklandside readers and listeners especially love our food reporting, and so do I. We'll dig into 3 interesting new restaurants opening in Oakland and what they say about our city's dining scene. After that, I'll tell you about Oakland's new interim city administrator, illegal fireworks complaints, the latest on the OMCA heist, a volume of medical literature written by Oakland High students now being taught at Samuel Merritt University, and Oaklanders whose names match their jobs. That's a fun one. But first, a word from a local sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by the owners of Jack London Square, Oakland's waterfront, right at the edge of the estuary. Whether you're catching the Sunday farmers market, grabbing dinner with a bay view, or just taking a walk past the historic Heinhold Saloon, Jack London Square is where Oakland meets the water. With restaurants, live events, the ferry to San Francisco, and more, it's Oakland's only publicly accessible waterfront destination. Come see what's happening. Visit jacklondonsquare.com. 3 notable restaurants have recently opened their doors in Oakland, and each one tells us something about where our local food scene is at right now. I'm joined by Tovin Lapan, our Nosh editor, and Skylla Mumana, our new Nosh reporter, to talk through what it all means. Tovin, Skylla, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
First, you've got a story about a new restaurant that is a bit of an Oakland comeback. Tovin, tell us about Bar Skula.
Yeah, so Bar Skula just opened on Grand Avenue, right across from the Lake Merritt Pergola in the old sidebar space. Our colleague Azucena Racia reported the story, which I edited. This one's a big deal for people who've been in Oakland a while because it's from Maria Alderete and Rick Mitchell, the couple behind Luka's Tap Room.
Luka's, for anyone who doesn't remember that gem of a spot in Uptown, please remind us.
Yeah, right. Luka's is often credited with helping catapult the revitalization of Uptown Oakland. The restaurant and bar helped drive nightlife in the area. It was a space where people would grab a bite and watch the Warriors game after work. And then as the night wore on, the dance floor would get going and would take on more of a club vibe. But sadly, for a lot of Oaklanders, Alderete and Mitchell closed it back in January of 2022 after the pandemic took a big bite out of the business and they couldn't negotiate a new lease with the landlord.
Yeah, it was a very painful loss. But now they're back.
They are. They're calling Bar Skula a Luka's remix. A lot of the same crew is involved, including chef Wilson Mendez, who was Luka's very first employee and stuck around for all 18 years it was open. Luka's founding chef, Jacob Aliotto, is also part of it. And they're paying homage to the space they're moving into, too. Jared Hirsch, who was the bar manager at Sidebar, designed the cocktail menu. By the way, for now, it's walk-ins only while they get their pacing down, but reservations will come later.
Okay, what's on the menu?
It's seafood-focused, with a lot of dishes inspired by Alderete and Mitchell's travels through Mexico, Central, and South America. There are ceviches, aguachile, and a vegan Corona bean dish Alderete is especially proud of. And some familiar faces on the menu, too. There's Luka's fan-favorite fries, the burger, oysters, wings.
All right.
On the cocktail side, Hirsch built the menu around what he calls the Iberian diaspora, a through line from Spain and Portugal into Latin America and then into California. So there's a reworked version of Sidebar's Caged Heat cocktail, now made with tequila and mezcal instead of bourbon.
I love how they are keeping the memory of Sidebar alive here. Okay, tell us about the artwork.
Yeah, that's definitely worth mentioning. Alderete commissioned Oakland muralist Pancho Pescador to paint underwater scenes on the walls, partly inspired by an old Oakland side story about the creatures that actually live in Lake Merritt, and partly by the urban legend of the Lake Merritt monster.
Love it.
There's a mural of the monster battling a giant octopus and another with a leopard shark, a blowfish, and an axolotl.
That's cool. I love that. So, Tovin, what does Bar Skula tell us about Oakland's dining scene right now?
I think it's a story about restaurant veterans betting on Oakland again and recapturing some of the magic of the pre-pandemic Oakland food and drink world.
Yeah.
Alderete and Mitchell have had their eye on this specific location for years. And in the meantime, the business and economic landscape for restaurants and bars has changed dramatically. Costs are higher across the board. and downtown Oakland is not recovering as fast as other Bay Area business districts. But they are still investing in the town. Mitchell told us getting back into the restaurant business seems crazy right now. Those are his words, but it's what he does and what he loves.
I cannot wait to check them out. I wish them all the best. Now, Skylla, you have got a very different kind of opening to tell us about. One that has gotten some attention for reasons beyond the food.
Right. So this is Goop Kitchen, the food arm of Gwyneth Paltrow's wellness brand. It's delivery only, ghost kitchen concept, and it just landed in the East Bay, operating out of the Adeline Food Hall.
Adeline Food Hall, that is just a few blocks from Children's Hospital, for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, it is. And that's actually the interesting wrinkle here. The outpost is branded Berkeley Goop Kitchen, even though the kitchen itself sits in Oakland. So I asked Goop's co-founder and CEO, Donald Moore, about that. And he said the branding follows where the deliveries go, not where the kitchen sits. Most orders from this hub apparently go to Berkeley addresses.
Sure.
He also said that Goop is incredibly proud to be operating out of Oakland.
But I know from your reporting that people online had their own theories.
They did. So some speculated that Oakland's identity just didn't match the Goop aesthetic, or that Berkeley tests better with their customer base.
Now, setting the branding debate aside, how was the food?
Mixed, honestly. I ordered a handful of their staples, like the gluten-free pepperoni Potts pizza, which is named after Paltrow's Marvel character. It had a gummy crust and pretty muted tomato sauce. The Brentwood Chinese chicken salad had good texture, but bland chicken. The vinaigrette did most of the work. The teriyaki bowl was the most balanced dish I tried, and the dark chocolate brownie was way drier than I wanted.
So your verdict?
Goop is fine. It delivers on its health-conscious promise, no gluten, no seed oils, no processed additives. But in a region that already has a lot of fast casual spots doing fresh, ingredient-driven food well, it didn't do much to distinguish itself beyond the celebrity name attached to it.
Yeah. Interesting contrast here, right, to Bar Skula. This is a ghost kitchen from a national wellness brand versus Oakland restaurant veterans reopening under their own name.
Exactly the tension right now. Hyper-local versus national brand expansion, both looking at the same East Bay market.
Okay, I want to close here with a story that is truly homegrown. Reem's is opening a flagship in Jack London Square. Skylla, tell us about it.
Yeah, this is a big one. So Reem Asil opened the original Reem's in Fruitvale back in 2017. She wanted it to feel like the Arab corner bakery she remembered from Damascus and Beirut. That location closed in 2021. Since then, Reem's has been to the Mission, to the San Francisco Ferry Building, which closed this past January when the property manager didn't renew the lease, but nothing back in Oakland.
Until now.
Until now. The new Jack London Square spot at 85th Webster Street had its grand opening on June 26. It houses both a restaurant and Reem's wholesale production. Asil told us it's been, quote, a hole in our heart not serving the Oakland population directly for 5 years.
What's new in this new location?
So this is the first Reem's built around a worker ownership model. 3 worker owners are running it. All 3 came up the Reem's apprenticeship program, which Asil created during the pandemic with funding from the Emerson Collective.
Now, listeners, you can learn more about this interesting model and the people behind it in Nosh's story. Skylla, what is on the menu?
So it'll track close to the Ferry Building menu. Wraps, za'atar mini pita, spinach fatayer, muhammara dip, but they're also adding dishes reflecting the new owner's own backgrounds in Mexico and El Salvador.
I love it. What do you guys think this new iteration of Reem's tells us about Oakland's dining scene right now alongside Bar Skula and Goop Kitchen?
I think it's the through line for this whole conversation, honestly. There's real appetite, pun intended, for Oakland-rooted food businesses right now, even as the economics get tougher, whether it's longtime Oakland restaurateurs opening under their own banner, or a bakery-turned-worker co-op finally coming home to Oakland after years away. It's no surprise that Oakland celebrates authenticity and people who keep showing up for their city.
Yeah, I mean, speaking for myself, building on what you're saying, Skylla, I think there's a real longing for and just a real embrace right now of places to eat and drink that also give you a sense of connection, to Oakland's more recent past, especially those years right before the pandemic, where we were seeing a lot of dynamism and risk-taking and success in the food and drink scene. I'm thinking especially about Uptown, Downtown, the Lake, Fruitvale, all neighborhoods that saw really sad closures and struggles when COVID happened and inflation shot up. So I am really looking forward to spending time and, frankly, money at Reem's and at Bar Skula. Hey, before I let you guys both go, Tovin, I know you've got a plug. Nosh has an event coming up, right?
We do. It's our pop-up food festival. This is the third year running. It's called Pop Nosh, and it's happening July 18th at Temescal Brewing, noon to 4 p.m.
All right.
We curated a lineup of some of our favorite up-and-coming East Bay food vendors and bring them all together in one spot. This year, we've actually got a name for it, which took us 3 years to land on.
Better late than never.
Right. And the timing makes sense. More and more new food ideas are getting tested out as pop-ups before they become full restaurants. In the last year alone, we've seen Senadoria Elvira, Bolita Masa, and Saints Smokehouse all make that jump from pop-up to brick and mortar.
Right. Okay, so who's on your lineup this year?
We've got Aku's Barbecue, an izakaya stand from Alec Koo serving yakitori. We have Jade Lumpia Bar doing Colombian-Filipino fusion. This is her first appearance outside the usual spot at Poor Manners. We have Smash and Stack Burger Shack, Pie on the Fly, who normally shows up at the Kensington Market and Factory Bar in Richmond, and they'll be serving pizzas, and Ace's Ice Cream for dessert. Plus, DJ Wiley Coyote will be on the decks, there'll be raffle prizes, and Temescal Brewing will have their beers on tap. It's free and family-friendly, and you can RSVP just to let us know you're coming.
All right. Tovin, Skylla, thank you guys both for walking us through all of this.
Thanks, Tasneem.
Thanks, Tasneem.
You can find all of this reporting at eastbaynosh.org and oaklandside.org. We will link to everything in the show notes, including how to RSVP for Pop Nosh. Now let's get into some other recent reporting from our newsroom. There's more in the full stories, which we will link to in the show notes, and you can always find at oaklandside.org. First up, Oakland has a new interim city administrator. The city council voted 6-2 this week to confirm Betsy Lake, Mayor Barbara Lee's pick, 2 months after former city administrator Justin Johnson resigned after text messages of his became public. Betsy Lake has worked for the city since 2018, most recently as acting city administrator. Her interim appointment runs through January 15th of next year, while Lee searches for someone permanent. The vote was not unanimous. Council President Kevin Jenkins and Council Member Janani Ramachandran voted no. Ramachandran says she, quote, doesn't trust Lake, pointing to her past work on land, sports, and real estate deals. That comes as Oakland's transportation director has filed complaints accusing Lake of misconduct, which Lake denies. The mayor's office says confirming an interim administrator now was necessary. The city needed someone with legal authority to sign off on upcoming bond transactions. Next, our deputy editor, Esther Kaplan, dug into just how bad Oakland's illegal fireworks problem really is, starting with her own front row seat from her home in East Oakland. Esther obtained records from 5 city council members and a 19-month data set from OPD's fireworks tip line. Her findings? Complaints spike hard every July, especially around the 4th, and they are heavily concentrated in the flats. You can look at data for specific zip codes in her story. Residents describe the noise as everything from unbearable to terrifying, with more than one comparing it to a war zone. But enforcement is murky. Nobody seems to be tracking how many citations actually get issued. When Esther called OPD's fireworks tip line last year, her call got rerouted to the voicemail for a prostitution hotline. More fascinating and frustrating details in her full story. Now, some good education news. A book of essays written by Oakland High School students is now being taught in classrooms at Samuel Merritt University. Students in Oakland High's Public Health Academy write essays every year on how culture shapes people's relationships to healthcare. Everything from Bosnian Muslim funeral practices to postpartum depression in Black communities to traditional Chinese medicine. The book is called Cross-Cultural Medicine, and it is now on volume 8. Samuel Merritt instructors have been assigning the essays to nursing and psychiatry students for the past 3 years, saying they build empathy and cultural competency in future clinicians. Read Ashley's stories for info on how to get a copy. Public safety reporter Rosalind Romero checked in on the Oakland Museum of California burglary, 9 months after thieves made off with more than 1,000 artifacts from an off-site storage facility. To date, no arrests, no recovered items, and OPD and the FBI aren't saying much. Rosalind did talk to Robert Whitman, the retired FBI agent who founded the Bureau's art crime team, which is assisting on the case. Whitman is still optimistic it'll get solved, in part because he thinks this looks like an opportunistic break-in rather than a professional job. He also thinks the museum is missing a chance by not offering a reward, something that helped crack a similar OMCA burglary back in 2013. And to close out headlines, here's something fun. Our reporter Natalie Ornstein went looking for Oaklanders whose names match their jobs, something that is called an aptronym. She found 6 of them. Among them, longtime Oakland Zoo director Joel Parrott, musician and drummer Michael Bang, hairstylist Grant Stiles, Alameda County treasurer and tax collector Henry Levy, who quite literally levies taxes, housing policy expert Sasha Hauswald, and hairstylist Sheila Head, who's been working on people's heads for close to 50 years and once got written up by the legendary San Francisco Chronicle columnist Herb Caen for it. Check out Natalie's really fun story for more on these aptly named Oaklanders. All right, that's it for headlines. We will link to all of this reporting in the show notes. That's this week's episode of Oaklandside 510. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen. Share it with your Oakland friends and neighbors. This episode was produced by Mark Nieto and hosted by me, Oaklandside Editor-in-Chief, Tasneem Raja. On behalf of our entire newsroom, thank you for showing up for Oakland. We'll see you next week.